What's up, guys? My name is Corey, coming at you for Mobility Simplified for Weightlifters, and it is a really cold one here, about 30 degrees in Connecticut, evening on a Wednesday. Some of you might be joining us in the afternoon from the West Coast. Welcome to have you. If you're new here, we do this every Wednesday, about 10 or 15 minutes of a just quick mobility drill of the week. And if you guys missed this, you can find it on my Instagram as well at Dr. Choffner PTSC. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through rebuilding thoracic mobility today. All right, thoracic mobility is so important because we technically lose that when we spend too much time texting, sitting with those rounded shoulders. We get that we want to avoid getting that downwards hump on our back over time, right? That we see a lot of older people come in with in the clinic, in person, people that I treat online too. So what we're going to do first, we're going to do the self-mobilization using a peanut. What is a peanut, you ask, right? All I have here is a Nike long sock, and I have 2 tennis balls in that sock. This way they kind of stay nice and pushed together. You can do this, it's really cheap, affordable, rather than spending $150 on like an expensive one on Amazon. Or what you can do is you can tape 2 tennis balls together, like you'll see in the actual kind of image in the group if you go on the discussion board there. All right, so all we're gonna do is we wanna find that mid spot on the mid-thoracic spine between both of our shoulder blades. All right, and we're gonna try and pinpoint that kind of right here, right? So the mid-back kind of right here between. Then we're gonna work our way up and down those segments just to kind of loosen up that stiff area to open up the joints. This is the same thing as if you were to come to me in the clinic and I was to just press on the spine doing mobilizations. These are just self-mobilizations from home. We wanna spend some time on those stiff points and really kind of lock in on them, okay? We're gonna put this right on the mid-back, so you guys can see here. So I'm kind of right between my shoulder blades. So both tennis balls, not directly on the actual spine, that part that points out. We don't want them on the spinous process. We want it right on the sides of it. And then we're going to cross our arms. So that's going to kind of give us a little bit more room for those balls to fall right into kind of that groove on each side of the spine, like the gutter, so to speak. And then what we're going to do from here is we find kind of a tender, tight spot. So I'm really stiff right here. I'm going to do a little bit of a crunch. So I'm going to kind of bring my elbows up, almost a little bit of a crunch here. And I'm going to hold for 2 to 3 seconds, and then I'm going to release and come all the way back. It's important that you keep your lower back relaxed. Your lower back should not move at all during this. If you hyperextend your lower back, you're going to start to feel it there, or it's going to become painful. All right, now I'm going to move my body down, which is going to move that peanut up a little bit. So now I'm working on the upper area. Same thing, crunching, pressing lightly down into the peanut and holding for 2 to 3 seconds, and then coming back and relaxing. All right, and I'm gonna do one more for you guys just because I feel a little bit extra tight today in that upper back. I was in the clinic, spent a lot of time typing at a computer, hunched over. Again, same thing, coming up, holding 2 to 3 seconds, not moving my lower back, just my upper back, my head's relaxed, and then I'm coming back into a nice extension stretch. All right, so it's great to do 2 to 3 sets of those. Do about 10 to 15 reps on each stiff segment. Start in the middle of the back, work your way up. Okay, so that's number one. Always start with joint mobilizations, especially if you feel really stiff. That's going to help kind of set the joints in a better position. Then we want to follow that up with doing some stretches. All right, so the stretches are going to be next. So after we do the peanut self-mobilization, we're going to do a prayer stretch. So all you need for this one, paper plate, works really well. It's what I'm going to use. You can use a towel or a t-shirt on a hardwood floor or a tile floor. That works well too. So I'm going to give you a nice side angle here. So with the prayer stretch, we're working the same thing, thoracic extension, and our goal is to drop our chest to the ground. So we really open up this area and stretch the lats a little bit. So stack one hand on top of the other. So we'll go left hand on top of the right, sit your butt back to your heels. You want to drive that plate forward as far as you can until your kind of head comes between your arms, and let your head kind of just drop to the ground, let your chest sink down. And I would say take a good 3 to 5 deep breaths, and on each exhale, try and drop your chest even more. So inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. And I'm coming into a deeper stretch. Kind of feel a little bit of a stretch in my mid-back, feel a stretch in my lats under my armpits. And as I exhale, guys, it's important that you push your hands further out. So When I exhale, I'm pushing out even further. Exhale, I push out even further. And as I'm pushing out, I'm also dropping my chest at the same time. So the goal of this one is to drop your chest to the ground and then push your arms further and further forward. And that's going to intensify the stretch ultimately. And that one's great to do. You can do 4 to 5 breaths, hold for 5 or 6 seconds. You can do 10 repetitions if you wanted to. Reps really don't matter too much with that one. I would start low, work your way up. Right, so that's the prayer stretch. If you want to progress that, it's really easy. Maybe you don't feel a stretch. Maybe you're not as stiff as someone just starting out. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab a foam roller and you're gonna do a progression of it. Very easy, same exact thing. Only now we want to make sure our palms are facing each other, right? So we're in a neutral grip. Same thing, butt back to the heels. We're sliding out, and then all we're doing is dropping our chest again, and then dropping our head, right? Squeezing our shoulders back slightly. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. And if I want to intensify the stretch, I can turn my hands outwards, right? So I'm turning my thumbs towards the floor and my pinkies to the ceiling. And what that's going to do, it's going to externally rotate my shoulders, and that's going to actually stretch more of my lat muscle, right? Because my lat's an internal rotator. So if I want to stretch it, I have to externally rotate the arm, and I got to turn the thumb out and the pinky up towards the ceiling. So again, I'm coming here, going into the big prayer stretch, pushing down, feels pretty good. And then when I rotate my hands out, which I target more of the lats. And again, I'm trying to drop my chest with each exhale further to the ground. And my arms are reaching further and further forward. All right, this one I like to do about 10 repetitions for about 10-second holds each time. I really like this one. It's really great to do. If you're working, you're sitting at a desk, you can do it kind of, every couple hours if you wanted to, or once in the afternoon, like right before your lunch break. If you work from home and you're lucky, you can do a little bit of foam roller work with that. So that's thoracic extension, right? Start with the peanut. Again, kind of open up that spine a little bit. And then after the peanut mobilizations, you move into the prayer stretch, either with the paper plate or the foam roller. You can do both, but I would suggest picking one over the other just to make the most and maximize your usage of time. So the last part is going to be looking at rotation mobility in the thoracic spine. So for rotation mobility, we're going to do it with a band and without a band. So we'll start with the easy way without a band. This is just called quadruped downward rotation. So for this one, I'll give you like a little bit of a side angle here. We want to keep a neutral spine, right? So I stick my butt all the way back, bring it in, and that's about neutral for me, right? So I'm kind of right at the midpoint there. My abs are slightly squeezed. So we're gonna stretch the left mid-back with this one. So from here, my lower body's relaxed. I'm gonna reach my left arm underneath my right side as far as I can. And I like to go palms up on this one. You can go palms down too if you want to. I just tend to feel it more with palms up. So I'm gonna reach all the way down. And then when I get to my end point where I can't reach any further, I'm gonna drop my left shoulder to the ground. And I'm exhaling as I do that. So as I'm dropping my left shoulder, my butt's staying in place, and I'm just feeling a big stretch across my left and mid-back. And I'm gonna hold about 5 or 6 seconds here. Then I'm gonna come back to start. All right, you can also switch to the other side, but for video purposes, I'm just gonna show you this side. All right, again, so I'm dropping down, dropping my left shoulder, exhaling, kind of just feeling that stretch in my mid-back. All right, I'll show you one on the right side just so you get a better idea too. All right, so again, neutral spine, reaching underneath the left now, coming all the way across, and then dropping my shoulder down. I'm a little bit tighter on the left because I don't feel this as much on the right, which is completely normal. So I'm going to show you for the left side, because I am tighter there, the good progression of that one. Same thing, working thoracic rotation, but we're going to use a band because that's going to get you a little more of a stretch, get you more bang for your buck, and save you a little bit of time too. So I have a big purple band here. I think it's like 30 pounds or so. I would say start light, start with like the thinnest band that you have and work your way up to a thick band. Right, this one I've done before, so I don't mind using this, but you're in the same position, right? So you're a couple feet away from where your band is attached to. Make sure it's set at a low point. So the lowest point you can, if you have a barbell rack, set it to the floor there. If you have a chair that's sturdy or a sturdy table, set it there. So you want to grab that band with the outer arm. So I'm stretching the left side, so I'm grabbing it with my outer left arm. And then same thing, I'm dragging across, right? This band pulling me more, and then I'm gonna drop my left shoulder into a stretch. And this I feel a lot more because that band's pulling me more into a further stretch. It's got forcing my body where it doesn't want to go, which is a good thing for stretching. And then as I come up, I'm going to actually squeeze and shorten the muscle now. So I'm going to squeeze my left shoulder back towards my spine, hold for 2 seconds, and then again, exhale, go into that stretch and hold for about 5 to 6 seconds. And again, pulling me into a nice stretch, dropping my left shoulder to the ground, butt stays put. And then again, on this one, I'm shortening the muscle, I'm pulling my left shoulder back and squeezing and holding. All right, so why are we doing that? So we're actually shortening the muscle and then we're lengthening it, right? Which can actually help us lengthen it more fully, okay? So that's just gonna it's like a neuromuscular trick between the brain and the muscle. So we're kind of lengthening it in the stretch, your mid-back, your rhomboid muscles, your mid-traps, and then we're retracting and recruiting it. So that's gonna help us keep better posture by strengthening there, but also by stretching. So it promotes mobility with strength at the same time. So it's like kind of like a combination of a strengthening exercise and a stretch. Okay, 2 in 1. All right. So those are the exercises for tonight. I believe we went through 5 things, right? Peanut mobilization first for thoracic extension, improving your posture, and then followed by the prayer stretch with the paper plate. You can use a towel if you want. Prayer stretch as well using a foam roller. And then we worked on thoracic rotation, right? The quadruped downward rotation. You don't need any equipment for that one. And then the progression of it using the band. So give those a try. Great to do if you sit at a desk or you're someone who drives frequently, say you're like a UPS driver or something, or you're just driving and you have a long commute to and from work. Give those a go. Let me know how they actually go if you carry them out. And, let me know if you want the replay too, because I'm happy to give you the replay if you want to show someone who can benefit from this, or if you want to kind of just rewatch it as you kind of get into doing things more and more. All right. Thanks guys for watching, and we will see you next Wednesday where we're going to cover a little bit more hip mobility because a lot of people have been reaching out to me about that. So it'll be a good topic to kind of address and tackle. All right. Thanks, and see you guys next week.